Warning, this content is for entertainment and educational purposes only. What's up, everybody? I guess it's just me for now. We'll see if the other slackers jump on here later. I feel naked without everybody here. Before we get started, a couple quick things I want to remind you guys about. I still have the Anabolics e-course on sale. You can go to our website, the Anabolic Bodybuilding website, to pick it up. It is 20% off for the Olympia. The coupon code is Olympia. If you want to grab the 20% off, Chase says he'll be here in 5. Amy went to go grab some food, I think, or something to drink. But we'll have everybody else on here in just a second. Also, I will be at the Olympia this coming week. Chase and I and some Vigorous Steve, some of the other guys, have a booth at the Olympia. I believe it's booth 203. I could be wrong about that. You can look it up on the Olympia guide. It is Chase and Friends. I think the booth is listed under. We're going to be hanging out there, talking to people. We will have some interviews set up. We're going to be doing some fun stuff at the Olympia. So if you are at the Olympia, come by and say hi. We'd love to see you. We'll be there with the crew. I'm looking forward to meeting everybody. It's going to be a fun time. So a lot going on in bodybuilding world this week. There was the Nick Walker announcement. Matt Jansen announced yesterday that Nick would not be participating in the Olympia. Not really sure what's going on there with Nick, but Nick had to drop out of the Olympia for one reason or the other. Last year it was his hamstring. Matt was kind of nebulous about what was going on. I'm going to pull up here in just a second. We'll listen to what Matt had to say about Nick dropping out of the Olympia. But it was kind of an abrupt thing. Like I hadn't seen Nick post any updates recently, so I wasn't really sure what was going on with him. So something was clearly off. So
it is Thursday afternoon, October 3rd. This is not a video that we wanted to make, especially after the video that Nick had to make last year, but we made a decision this week for Nick to be not competing in this year's Olympia. It was a hard decision. Obviously this has been a very hard few weeks for us, and just to be really what we want to do in this video, guys, is just be truly transparent with you and honest with you about where Nick's been at, and what the decisions that we made that made us come to this decision, or the thought processes. But honest truth is that Nick right now, in terms of his body, in terms of the bodybuilder that you guys know, his body is just not there. And I've been wrestling with this for a couple weeks. Obviously Nick and I have had very intentional conversations. But we feel that it's best for not only himself, his career, what's most important, but also for the Olympia, for the current physique that Nick has, to not be represented on the Olympia stage. And we did, I want to say that we did everything in our power this year to get him on stage. But at the same time, I know full and well, Nick knows full and well, the type of physique that can be represented, and it's just not there. So we can go into the X, Y's, and Z's of why we think that his physique isn't there. I don't really think that all of that is super important, but what I do think is important is that you have a bodybuilder that's been meticulous in everything that he's done since before 2019. Him and I started working together in 2018. And I just think that the honest truth to the reason why his body's not where it needs to be is his physique's just tired. Nick has had a lot of things happen in his life the past few years, and it seems like, and we've talked a lot about this, but it seems like he operated very well in chaos, and his body operated very well in chaos. And over the past...
All right, well, enough of that. Look, there was a part in here where Matt I think brings on Nick, and Nick talks a little bit. And you can definitely see in the video where Nick is not in shape. You can see like his face is kind of puffy, whatnot. You know, and I don't want to be hard on the guy because I know decisions like this are super hard to make, and I can't imagine working all year and having to pull out. Plus, it's just the money. He's a top 5 competitor. Guy's going to lose out on a 6-figure paycheck not being there. Can't hear you, Colin.
He's probably spent a considerable amount of money too.
Yeah, probably spent a considerable amount of money. And look, I saw some really cruel stuff being said about him yesterday on social media, which honestly just kind of pissed me off, to be truthful, because I've been on the receiving end of that stuff before, and I really don't like when people, they start making up shit about health that they don't know about. They start talking about how awful someone's physique is. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. The dude's a top 5 Olympian. Every year he's competed. So I don't, it's just wild to me that people would talk trash about that. And I've never heard Nick say a bad word about anybody, ever. Dude seems to be a hard worker. He's made the most of what he had. And usually, when guys drop out at the end of the shows like this, like usually what I've seen happen, one, either you're not following the diet 100%, because there's something going on in your life. Maybe it's family. Matt even said it seemed like maybe there's some family shit going on. I don't know. Your body's not responding to the PEDs. I've had that happen before where I blast it and it seems like nothing works. Where your body's just tired or worn out. There very well could be a health issue going on. We don't know, but my guess would be he's a young guy. There's probably some sort of outside distraction going on, if I were to speculate. But who knows? That's what Matt seemed to elude at here. But I would say, like, look, guys, the nasty stuff like that I've seen, just I don't know. I mean, I guess you put yourself out in the public life. You're opened up to it, but I think sometimes we forget that there's a human being on the other side of it.
Look, if you see a fresh turd dropped on the ground, you can expect to see flies congregating on it. Do you have to be happy about it? No, you can be like, get the fuck away from that. I'm not likening him to a turd. That's not the best analogy, but like I'm just saying, like these fucking like weak people who come out of the woodwork just to like shit on somebody, kick somebody who's down, like that is meaningless.
Yeah, I mean, Larry makes a point. We've seen a lot of guys supernova and burn out for NASA. It was 95 through 98, and then he fell off the cliff. I mean, that's true too. I mean, at some point, there's only so long you can redline the body before it fights back. Mm-hmm. I've had those situations where I've just pushed the gas pedal down. After my show this year, man, I was toast. I this past 9 weeks, I'm definitely not bringing my best form to my Olympia. But I just been coasting, man. My body just told me like needed an exhale. I did the anti-chase irons. I went down to 300 milligrams a test.
That's okay. I mean, I feel like that's pretty common though. After like it was just like such a big lead up to that show, and you won your pro card. It was just like everything came to like climax, and it's just like boom, now it's done. Like
you deserve a break,
right? Like I think it's totally.
I will say this: the guys that redline all the time, and I think that's from talking. I did that interview with Larry Pollock and talking. We talked some offline and then some online, and I've watched some of Larry's videos. But talking about Nasser, that dude went to the extreme and did it nonstop, 365 days a year for several years, trying to take out Dorian. Yeah. And I've seen it before. You'll see it all the time. You'll see the guys that just go balls in to get their pro card, and then they never compete as pros because they're done. They're toast. And the guys that last a long time, like Dexter Jackson, Kamal, those type of guys, seem to take breaks. Like Dexter always took breaks. I mean, even like with you, Chase, like you've pulled back and you get yourself healthy. You push and then you get healthy.
Well, that too, it's just like I also just get sick of the injections. I get sick of the routine, the schedule, and it's just like I want to unplug and chill. But I mean, I feel like we hear that more and more often with like professional athletes. Not that I'm a professional athlete, but it's just like you hear about. I don't know who was it like that. I'm terrible with like names and like basketball, but what's his name would like take 3 months off after the finals and just go fuck off for like not practice, not do anything, and just chill.
That's Airbud.
Airbud, yeah. But still, it's just like, I mean, I definitely believe in taking some serious downtime when you've taken some serious on time. So I'll probably be doing that here in about a week. So, yeah.
Does it start on Thursday?
I mean, probably, probably start Thursday.
Amy's got a fan here. Because Junior, Amy, will you have some breakfast with me if you come to Michigan? You are amazing.
Absolutely. I've never been to Michigan.
You're not missing a lot.
Yeah, never been.
It's got very nicely.
Well,
Some of my favorite people are from Michigan. I should hold my tongue.
Yeah,
I don't know if Justin Sider would appreciate you saying that, Paul.
Justin said he was going to come on later, but he said his wife made him go to church today.
That's all right. To be fair, he needs it.
He was like, I don't think one Sunday's going to make up for 20 years.
I love Justin. Tan looks good, Amy.
Thank you. It's that best tan ever is the day after a show. It's like, so tan. It's always a surprise.
Yeah,
like waking up and being like, ooh, tan. Like my stomach's tan. Like I'm tan all over.
That's awesome.
I've been taking some Anadrol this week just to fuck around, and it looks like I have a tan. And like somebody at the gym asked me if I had a tan. I'm like, no, it's just my red blood cell count and my blood pressure.
Just all that healthy
naturally
living.
I've been fooling around this week. So like I ended like my big cycle like 2 weeks ago or whatever, and last week I didn't inject anything, and then this 2 weeks ago, and then this last week I've never messed around with like test suspension and test no ester and that kind of stuff. So I've been experimenting with that a little bit, just for fun. But that's I don't know if you haven't tried that. It's an interesting pre-workout.
No, I've heard crazy things about it. I've never tried it.
Yeah, paired up with Roman finally got me to get injectable Anadrol. So this week only, I've been playing around a little bit with that, and it's worth. I think Roman's right. It's worth the shot.
Maybe I need to switch to the injectable, man. I started my cycle up this week.
Yeah.
Because I basically, I took like 4 or 5 weeks off completely. Mainly just because I forgot to take my shots. And I'm like, I'll take one next week. And then I just didn't do anything at all. Did exactly what I tell my clients not to do. And then I just been on bodybuilding TRT until this past week. And then so I'm doing 300 tests, 200 EQ every other day. I haven't run EQ in a long time. So we'll see how that goes. And I was running 50 milligrams of Anadrol a day. And my God, man, I'm like on day 6 of the This is me cramming for the exam. I was thinking maybe I'll take some Anadrol and fill out a little bit before the Olympia. Because I'm looking small and flat right now.
Well, like I mean, because like I was on 6 grams of test or whatever, so it's like that shit's still floating through my system. So it's like I've still got crazy high levels for sure. So I was just like, you know what, I'm just not gonna do any like long ester stuff, and I'll just fool around. Like, so that's when I started playing with test suspension and stuff. And I don't even know how much I'm just like fucking shooting at every workout and just seeing what happens. So
that's the shit the Nazis would take before they went into battle.
I believe it. Yeah, it's pretty good.
No, that was like during
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
During World War II, that was what they would, from what I read, it was because that's all they had was test suspension. It was test suspension and methamphetamines. They would give the SS guys
Yeah.
and send them off into battle.
That's
I definitely did not miss though the smell of Guaiacol in test no ester, and I think they use it in Anadrol too, injectable Anadrol. Like that shit stinks.
what does it
so
smell
bad.
like?
It's like chemical burnt bacon, and it'll make your entire body smell like it. Like if you get messy with it, like you gotta like get a lot of soap and wash that shit off.
Oh,
But Tren has got a smell to it too.
Some like it's really, yeah. I mean, once you've smelled it, you can tell when it's in a compound, and but like test suspension is water based and it's the powder floating, so it doesn't have that in that.
Then there's the trend pheromones where you got women just walking up to you at the grocery store smelling you. They get close to you.
I've been really surprised.
Or maybe it's just you're in shape. I don't know.
Yeah. I've been really surprised though that like test suspension hasn't been. I expected it to be like super painful because you're like basically injecting powder, you know. But it's been surprisingly really good. I guess, you know, these companies have gotten decent at figuring it out.
I don't know, man. Maybe I need to move to the injectable Anadrol, man. I'm like on day 6 and the acid reflux is just out of control.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to take a proton pump inhibitor or get Amy to fix my gut. One of the two.
Yeah. Roman speaks the truth. It's worth trying.
I might have to. I don't even know where to get it. So, but
I mean, you get like I had looked around for freaking random plays because none of my usual people had it. So it's like, well,
I got to get. Amy's going to have an off-season project to fix my stomach.
Yes, I'm ready.
I still need to fill out her 180 question test on my gut and my poop.
Like gut
300 questions. But
oh, is it 300? It's even worse.
they're
than
multiple
I thought.
choice. It's worse than I thought. They're easy. I mean, there's no wrong answers. Like it's all just about, you know.
Oh, there's wrong answers, Amy.
No,
my last
excited.
name is wrong answer.
No,
No,
on
at
the
some point I'm
SATs,
going to take a look
just
at that.
C.
I've been meaning to do a GSC. When in doubt, choose none of the above.
Or all of the above.
All of the above. Option D. I remember, I remember reading about like strategies for taking tests, and like usually when it used to be, I don't know if that's the case, but when they would have all or none of the above, that there was a statistical chance that was the best answer. I remember like there was like a slight. It's like playing blackjack. When you hit 11.
I had a
slight edge to all of the above.
I had a psychology teacher one time who purposely made all the correct answers on a multiple choice test C for all 20 questions.
To see how many people would just like not believe that was the case.
that was what we talked about afterwards.
How many people changed their answers just because they saw the pattern?
Yeah.
I remember
this can't be right.
I'm OCD and I read all the instructions on stuff usually, but I remember in college my college statistics teacher, he had a very weird sense of humor, and I remember going in the class and taking the final, and he had this elaborate set of instructions. It was like two pages long, and I'm like, about like 5 paragraphs into it, he's like, if you've read this far, you can just write complete at the end of the test and leave the class.
So were you the first one done?
I was the first one done. I handed the exam in, and everybody was looking at me like, what the fuck?
That's fantastic.
And I walked out of the class, and he looked at me and he said, congratulations. When I walked out of the class, that was how I aced statistics in college.
I feel like that was
I
the
read
thing.
the
Like they would give
instructions.
you a test that would make you do like really stupid things, but the first thing said read the entire test all the way through, And the very last thing said, like, basically just sit at your desk. And all the things in between were things like jump up and down, like quack like a duck, like throw your pencil in the air. And like, so you'd start seeing it around the room. Like people would start doing those things. And the people who'd actually read all the way through were just like sitting there watching the fun and games happen.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think college professors get bored.
Yeah, clearly.
Some college professors get bored and make little fun instructions on jumping up and down and quacking like a duck for a test, and other college professors get bored and accidentally make a baby with a student. Oops. I think the first one's probably a little better.
I got to be careful what I say, but I did have a little bit of a relationship with a college professor when I was in school.
You get some extra credit there.
It's been 30 years now.
Did she help you with your science fair project?
I did
Volcano?
get an A in her class. I'll say that.
That's awesome.
She helped me with some extra tutoring. I didn't know what all was included.
Paul has a lot of stories.
I do have a lot of stories. I embellish just a little to make them fun, but the crux of them is true.
As any good storyteller should.
I live a very
going back to Nick, I heard he had bad gear.
I've heard that rumor floating around too.
Yeah, that was.
I don't know how much of a rumor it is. I think he wasn't responding. Well, he wasn't. You're not going to respond if you got
like, he usually responds.
You're just injecting oil.
That's my question. How the fuck would somebody at his level end up with bad gear?
So I was just going to say, at that level, how do you get bad gear?
You just listen to the wrong guy. Somebody says, "Hey, use this stuff." I mean,
wouldn't you send it off for testing?
They don't give a shit about that. That's what we do. They don't get blood work. They don't check that shit. And then they probably finally did check blood work, and we're like, "Shit, your test levels are tanked. We got nothing."
200.
Right. No, I mean,
well, didn't Roman say he prepped for an entire show and realized that he had a bunk gear at the end?
Yeah. Like Roman said, that was just like two or 3 years ago. Roman said he did a whole prep on bunk gear.
Yep.
I mean, it happens. It's just,
remember how he tested that it was bunk?
It's fucking embarrassing. So you're not going to say that, because you're a pro. But I mean, that's the real word on the street.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, that's crazy if that's the case. I was just thinking it was like personal issues. But that would be insane if that was the case.
I think that would almost be an easy fix, though. I mean, if that was really the case, you don't think they would have tried switching up suppliers if they even thought that could be it before just like.
I mean, if they ran it, I mean, if they were running it for like 8 weeks or like wasted 8 weeks, I don't know, and then didn't.
Yeah, you're not going to be ready in 8 weeks.
I don't know, like if you were on like good gear, and then you switched to something else, and say you were running that. Like you probably wouldn't even notice it until like 4 weeks in, because the levels from the good gear are like coming down, and then by the time it's tanked, another 4 weeks go by, and you're like, this doesn't feel right, and then at that point it's like, oh shit, we just wasted the last 8 weeks.
Lucas said Dave Palumbo said the same thing. Yeah, I mean, maybe it was fake. Who the fuck knows? That would suck.
Yeah, that'd be unfortunate if that was all it is.
I feel like that's probably the best case scenario, though. At least he's not like sick or nothing terrible is going on. That would be the best case. He's not
Kevin
hurt.
said he heard that someone in his family passed away, and he went and lived with his parents and spent some time going to actual events and stuff. So yeah, I mean, if you got life stuff going on, I don't know. It's all speculation. Who knows what the fuck's going on?
I mean, it is. Yeah, it's all guessing games, but that's what I'm hearing.
I just hope the guy's okay.
Yeah.
I wish people wouldn't be so critical of him. That's the thing that bothers me, is when I see people like taking like personal shots at him.
Right. I mean, nobody wants to make that decision. When you're a professional athlete, like that's the worst decision you can ever have to make. Like pulling out of an event. I mean, that's especially when you're going to get so much hate for it or so much speculation.
I've had clients I've had to take out of shows, and it sucks. I've had to pull out. It sucks.
That's what she said.
Bada boom. You sound like my kids.
I thought it was kind of ridiculous how people were like, he doesn't look like he's a week out or in shape or anything like that. And it's like they probably realized this, weeks ago, and he's been eating, And then they like people talking about, oh, look how big his waist looks while he's sitting there. I'm like, it's not on fucking stage, and he's eating. he's not sitting there sucking it in for you guys. He's pissed off, and
I also don't think these guys understand how much water these big pros drop on peak week.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
Kurt, man.
I mean, there's that, but it's also like, I think if more people actually went to like the Olympia or the Arnold and walked around the Expo and saw these people in person in their like natural habitat, when they're not posing on stage and flexing and stuff, they would get a way better idea of what these people like actually look like. And from a lot of different angles, like, yeah, it's not the most flattering thing, but this is what they have to do. This is kind of how things look, to get that way on stage. And they don't really give a shit, if maybe their waist is a little distended in the off season, because all what matters is showtime. And I feel like so many people think that all the bodybuilders they need to look like stage ready all the time. And it's just, you go to an expo, and the first time that I went, it was really eye opening to me. And it actually made me feel a whole lot better about myself, because I was like so self-conscious about my midsection. And then I see everybody else walking around. I'm like, oh, this is normal. Like this isn't I'm not, weird for this. So it was just kind of,
you don't just walk around sucking a vacuum 24/7.
Right. You don't just walk around vacuumed and flex the whole time. It's like,
speak for yourself, guys.
Only when women are walking by, right?
Yeah. So,
Well, and a tan can do wonders.
yeah.
I was laughing. Justin said he was going to jump on later, but Justin shaved all his body hair off, and I'm like, oh, you actually look like you're a bodybuilder, man.
He's showing up big for that Generation Iron video.
yeah. I think he's been secretly prepping for this.
Yeah.
I've been reverse prepping, making myself look worse. Oh man.
It'll be all right. Nobody cares.
Somebody was saying pull pictures of John Jewett. Yeah, John Jewett looks, man.
He always looks crazy.
John looks. I think he's this year. His progress has probably been some of the most impressive out of anybody I've seen this year.
Yeah, he has really dialed it in. I mean,
Yeah, he's nuts.
and he's so good at articulating his process as well in a really smart way. Like, I feel like he doesn't fall victim to being reactional. Even when things don't quite go his way, he's really good at kind of taking a step back and looking at things and reassessing.
Does he prep himself?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Yep.
I could never do that. Look at that, man. This is 1 week out. He hasn't even dried out yet.
Unreal.
Yeah, he's nuts.
There's a lot of muscle on a little person.
Yeah.
And then like such a nice dude too.
He is so nice.
I said before, like when we met him at the Arnold, he was hands down the most impressive dude that I saw at the entire expo. Like he was just muscle hanging off of him. And he was fully clothed. He had a t-shirt. He wasn't even like a tank top or anything. You could just see like his arms just like spilling out of his sleeves and his quads and his hamstring. It was just like, this guy he's very impressive.
John Jewett definitely tests his gear.
John definitely tests his gear. Like, and I saw a lot of people there, and I was just like, wow, this guy is.
The thing that stood out on John when we saw him there in person was his fucking legs. Oh my god,
crazy.
His legs are like tree stumps.
Yeah. And he's just like standing there. His hamstring is just like, just like, it's weird. It's like falling out of his shorts. It's just crazy. Like hanging over the back of his knee and shit. It's nuts.
Somebody said he's John top 5 this year. I don't know about that, but I saw him post something. He said, he would be over the moon if he got a top 10 finish.
Oh yeah, I could see that happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good.
I mean, his just looking at this again. This is he looks crazy. And John's just such a nice guy too. He's just a really he's one of the good guys in bodybuilding. Just one of the nicest guys you'd ever want to meet.
Yep.
Just super down to earth. I mean, he talked to us for a long time.
Yeah.
We just shot the shit with him.
Yeah. Just a normal, regular, cool dude, a fan of the sport, and a crazy competitor.
That guy said that Clarida is also one of the nuttiest people to see in person. Yeah, Clarida is very impressive in person. He doesn't look real. He's like 3 feet tall and 8 feet wide. I'm like, what? I had to like take a double like he doesn't look real.
Yeah.
He covers up a lot though. Like he wears like such huge shirts and shit. Like you can still tell it's just like, oh my god, he's like a little mountain under there.
I think the most impressive person I've seen, John's impressive is Samson. We saw him when he was in
He's just so fucking big and tall. Like it's just like in a crowd full of large bodybuilders, he just stood out.
Yeah.
It's hard to do,
We saw him at the New York Pro when he was in the off season, and he's just a tad shorter than about my height, maybe just a tad shorter than me, and 330 pounds. It's got like 80 pounds.
Every
on
bit
me.
of it.
It's crazy.
That's nuts.
I'm like, holy fuck! I'm not a small person. Not many people make me feel small. That guy was like I'm like, holy shit. I saw Ronnie in his prime. I don't know. Maybe it was my memory of seeing him is a little distorted, but I still see him as the biggest human being I've ever seen in person.
I can believe that. Brandon says Bonac is insane in person. He gave him a hug, and it was like hugging a brick wall.
I think the two biggest bodybuilders I've ever seen in person were probably Ronnie, and then Tom Prince was enormous when I saw him at his prime too. I don't know what Tom weighed. God rest his soul. He passed away last year, but I don't know what his weight was, but he was incredibly big. I used to see Kevin Levrone around because he's local. He's from my area, and I remember seeing him. I was like, "What the fuck?" You'd see him, and he just looks like a regular guy.
I mean, that's another example of someone that just took fucking time off. They would do their show, and then he would just whatever, like go chill. And I mean, he's probably, stayed one of the more healthier guys for it. And he's
I mean, I also think Kevin
took just some time off from bodybuilding to party and do drugs.
He was in a band, and he used to travel.
Yeah,
and I think he played bass, if I remember right. And I just think dude was just out having fun, doing what the fuck ever. He was a bodybuilder half the year, and he was a musician the other half.
What was that quote another bodybuilder told about him? Was like, you could have been Mr. Olympia if you just applied yourself a little bit more. And he said, "Yeah, but I had a lot more fun than you."
I think he was talking to Dorian.
It was Dorian, yeah.
Yeah.
Dorian was no fun allowed for a couple decades there.
It's a good point.
Like, I had a lot. He said, "I'd rather be second place in the life I had."
Yeah, and I can appreciate that. I can also appreciate Dorian's. I mean, who can't appreciate what Dorian did? But more than what he accomplished in his bodybuilding career, I like that as soon as Dorian hung it up, he put on that mesh tank top, and he went out to the club.
Right.
And it was on.
Didn't he say Kevin Levrone was the one responsible for that?
Yeah. Didn't he go up to Kevin? He's like, is there a party tonight? Can I come? And
Yeah,
he's never asked to come to a party.
Yeah, I heard the stories of Kevin talking about like how he always tried to tempt Dorian into coming out and partying, and Dorian would always say no. And then like after his last Olympia, he was like, came up to him. Yeah, I've heard this story. I'm paraphrasing, so I'm probably slaughtering it, but I remember him saying that Dorian came up to him and was like, "Is there an after party this year?" And Kevin's like, "Are you serious?" And he told Dorian where it was at, and he said, "Here comes Dorian showing up in a fishnet shirt, and full in drinking." Doing drugs, partying for like eating whatever for several days straight, and I heard Dorian's like, "I'm either all in or I'm all out." That's how I am, man. I'm like, I can't switch gears. Like I can't go into like 80% mode. I'm either 100% or I'm 0. That's sort of how I go with shit. Yeah, Kevin was. Here's off-season Kevin Levrone. This picture. I always
Somebody
laugh.
just made a video recently of like Kevin Levrone, out of shape and in shape, and they edited it together real well.
Yeah, I saw it. This was off-season Kevin Levrone. Yeah, I remember seeing that version of it. And I'm like, what? That's this dude. This dude.
Pretty crazy.
Before and after Flintstones vitamins.
Very crazy.
Yeah, I've heard some stories about his site. Yeah, like this. This is
That's so amazing.
I mean, it's nuts. It's nuts. Even though, like, when he did his little comeback thing, how much he still, like, of course he didn't get back to where he was, but it was still fucking impressive.
Yeah,
It was like, holy crap. Yeah.
Dorian's first bong rip. Yeah, exactly.
Oh shit.
Kevin's especially impressive considering that was 147 milligrams of testosterone and 1.2 units.
Yeah, how does he do it?
And 5 days on, 2 days off.
I've from unnamed sources, I've heard what Kevin would do when he got back on, and it was bottles.
Yeah.
I mean, it works.
He would go hard to the paint.
Those results are dramatic.
Tren and Anadrol.
Oh man, I haven't been looking at questions at all today. I don't know if anybody's been putting
That's
questions,
all right.
but I haven't been paying attention.
I haven't really seen any come in. I don't know. We're just fucking off. I wouldn't
Maybe
be.
it's just a bullshit show today. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, we'll take a couple questions. I wouldn't be offended if we ended a little early because the Washington Commanders play at 1:00.
We actually have a quarterback now.
Yeah, they have
good
a
one.
a good one. They have a chance to be 4-1 for the first time in like 180 years
This is the first time since before the creation of the
since 1939. I got ruined as a child, man. I'm going to transition to football for just a second because they were in the Super Bowl every fucking year when I was growing up.
Yeah.
And I just was like, yep, this must be what it feels like for a 30-year-old Patriots fan right now.
Yeah.
It's like every year they were in the Super Bowl or NFC Championship games, and then 30 straight years of nothing. Will you change the name of Gospel Bodybuilding? Yeah. That
Darwin had a question here. I am 8 weeks out from my first bodybuilding show, and I'm wondering how far out should I pull my GH? I'm worried about not being able to see how much fat I still need to cut due to the water retention.
Well, if you are not sure how much fat you need to lose, you still need to lose a lot of fat. You'll know.
John Jewett actually said, assume it's never water.
Yep. Yeah.
He has a whole rant he goes on about
It's the
feedback
same
from
rule.
judges.
Yeah.
Yep. Whatever they say, assume it's not water, assume it's fat. Always.
Yeah.
Assume it's not water is the same rule I apply to all of the animals in my house and any mystery liquid I come across.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, so many guys that are new to just dieting in general, getting lean, really lean in general, way overestimate how much muscle that they have for sure. And it's like especially guys that are an example would be they were like, 10 years ago, I did a couple cycles or whatever, and I've been on TRT for the last 3 years, and they're like 250 pounds and 5'8", and they're like, I mean, I've got some fat to lose, but I think I can get down to like 220 and look pretty good. And it's like, dude, you haven't been on a real cycle in a decade. You've been on TRT for the last, 3 years or whatever. Like, you're not going to be holding more muscle tissue than a natural person at this point, and if you're like 5'8", 5'10", whatever, like that's going to be like 150, 160 pounds of lean mass, and it's just kind of the way that it goes. And as you diet down, like you're going to be under 200 pounds if you're going to be lean, and
First show, the only thing you should be worried about is just getting lean, and then getting that rebound afterwards. That's really it. I'm trying to find. I have a picture of me like when I was in my late 20s, and I was 300 pounds, and I remember thinking to myself that I was 12% body fat.
Yeah. I don't know how many guys I've talked into getting under two. There's something about the fucking 200-pound number where guys are like, I got to be more than 200 pounds.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to shrivel up and waste away. And it's like, dude, you don't have the muscle to be over 200 pounds. Like, we all had to shrivel up at some point to get to this point,
If you look at the 1979 Mr. Olympia, I think there were only 2 guys over 200 pounds.
Yeah.
Like, are you bigger than Samir Banut? Are you bigger than Frank Zane? Probably not. Like, you might think you are, but you're not bigger than
This
that.
is a really blurry picture.
Especially if you've only been doing TRT,
I was 29 here, and I thought I was 300 pounds, and I thought I was 12% body fat.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, for 300 pounds, you're looking pretty good.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I was a meatball, that's for sure. And
Like,
I remember I dieted down. I got down to like 220, and I wasn't even stage lean.
Yeah.
And I was very disappointed with my. I thought I lost a bunch of muscle, but it was just super fat.
I mean, you just don't realize like how much sub-Q fat there is, and like how much fat is
visceral fat.
Yeah, visceral and fat in the muscle and water in the muscle, and as everything just slowly burns out, and then you're finally left over with what you're left over with. It's your first time is it's going to be disappointing.
Well, example is just take a ribeye and slap it down and look at it, and you see all the fat that's in interspersed in the muscle. I mean that like I'll hear guys like, my arms shrunk up on prep. I'm like, nah, did they really, or were you just fat?
And then you get guys jump.
That's why we add estrogen to trim for cattle, because it creates the marbling.
Yeah.
Oh,
so if you've been fat and you're running your estrogen high, you got a ton of marbling, just like a cow.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I see guys like,
are you marbled?
Getting on a DEXA and being like, well, the DEXA says I'm 9% body fat. It's like, well, what does the mirror say? Like, you don't have any abs. What are you talking about? Like, it's not. Who cares what that thing says? Look in the mirror. Does it look like you're in shape yet? Does it look like you can still lose more? Like, compare yourself to this guy. Like, you're not even close. What are you talking about? I don't know. That drives me nuts. Like, guys that think that I don't know. And I think it's mostly because I feel like we've all been there, and it's just, you don't know until you experience it, and it's just like, okay, shit. Like, here we are,
Yeah, I mean, everybody on the first show, you got a lot more to lose than you think you do, usually.
Yeah, like,
Well,
I mean,
you're never gonna get as lean as you can get on your first show. I think your body's not ready for it.
That too.
Because I think you have to kind of almost train your body to push deeper. And that first time, like you just don't even understand what it's going to take. You think you are, and you're the leanest you've ever been before, but doing it again, your body will, you'll push way past it. You'll be shocked at how much more you push that second season than you were able to in your first. Just even if you got, concentration camp lean, like you're never going to be as lean as you can be your first show.
Yeah, my first show in the off season, I was 270, and show day the morning of, I think I weighed in at 203. I was like, holy fuck. I mean, and I still could have lost a little bit more. Like I was pretty good, but I could have still lost more. I was just like, damn, like I had no idea what I actually had, and then talking about the whole thing is like, as you're getting lean towards the show, and I remember like I was probably like 8 weeks out, and I was like, this is the leanest I've ever been. And I was thinking like, man, if I didn't have a coach, I would be satisfied with this. Like I would be, everybody's got like another level of satisfaction and satisfaction, whatever. But yeah, like Jordan Peters was my coach through that. And he, of course, he knows a deeper level. And I was just like, wow, this is way beyond what I would have ever thought that I would have been able to push myself to.
Oh, you work with JP?
Yeah.
JP is no bullshit.
Yeah, and it still wasn't. I still didn't, get far enough, but it was crazy.
Oh, we cracked 200 simultaneous viewers on the live stream. I think that's the first time that's ever happened. This is what happens when we don't compete with Steve.
There's another Cowboys fan in the chat who has been a long-suffering Cowboys fan with me. Yes, we had good times. They were a long, long time ago.
Larry, at least your team wins. Mine hasn't even done that.
I was gonna say
we do win, but we also lose epically.
than our team for a long time, even if it's just been marginally here and there. I saw a funny video about being a Cowboys fan recently. It was a guy at he went to like I don't know if it was like a school board thing. It must have been like a school board thing, and he was talking about getting the local high school to change their name from the Cowboys to something else, because he said it just doesn't seem right to force these kids to associate with that team that doesn't win. And he was, I think I sent it to the group chat. It's very funny.
Well, at least the Cowboys have had the common decency to flame out in the playoffs. The Commanders don't even do that.
Yeah,
yeah, right.
There was a good meme going around this recently that said the Cowboys practice was halted because there was a mysterious white substance found near the end zone, and it was later found out to be the goal line. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Oh, somebody asked, this kind of is a continuation of that question. How long can you bulk for? I've been bulking and my body fat's at around 15 to 17%. I'm 40 pounds heavier. I would doubt you. I mean, I think 15% is like the top end of body fat that you should ever get to on a bulk. I honestly
40 pounds up too. Like there's probably a good amount of fat there.
Yeah. I with my clients, I don't let them bulk for more than 8-9 months. Like I usually will do like a 16 to 20 week bulk, and then we need to clean up after that.
Well, I mean, after that, it's just like you're putting fat on your liver and visceral fat, basically.
Yeah,
it's not going to be building a whole lot of muscle when you've got that much extra fat.
No, it's not good. These guys that do these 2 or 3 year bulks, I'm just like, man. I've never seen anybody do that and get better, ever.
Yeah.
I mean, very rarely. And you'd have to throw in some mini cuts or something in there in between. I'm not a huge fan of mini cuts either. Like I feel like it's sort of like not enough to actually do anything. Not to say that I haven't done them with my clients, but for most people, I feel like you need to do a full 12 to 16 week cut to get anything productive out of it, to actually catch a rebound, to get lean enough for it to do anything. I think you need to be in a deficit for a lot longer.
Yeah.
I
agree.
Somebody asked you to please share your arm workout. Colin does have some big ass arms.
My arm workout.
Colin's got bigger arms than me.
I don't know about that. I do what Paul does. We just what do we do?
Curls.
curls for the girls. Do some hammer curls.
I was laughing because it'll be up this week. Kurt and I did a podcast with Paul Carter where we went pretty in depth on PEDs and training, and Paul was like, you really only need like one exercise for biceps, one for arms. That's pretty much
all I do.
I mean, triceps is pretty much all we do. Here lately, I've been on this Jim Lecco preacher curl machine that we got, brand new machine at my gym. That thing is fucking awesome. I didn't like it at first.
Yeah, he had a friend of his show him to like how you can change the angle on when you use it, and it's almost like doing like a hammer curl on a machine, like it hits the inner part of the bicep head here.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, I like it a
It's
lot too.
yeah, I like that machine a lot. It's got a really weird angle to it. But I've been using that a lot lately. My elbow's been bothering me, so I kind of have to be careful what I do with my elbow. It's usually just rope push downs and some dumbbell kickbacks or something. I used to do overhead extensions, but Paul was saying like the stretched load on triceps doesn't make any difference.
Yeah, it's not one that grows from that.
Yeah.
And also the shoulder, you get what it called
Impingement.
forget the term. Your shoulder basically it's passive interference. When you're over your head, your shoulder is not allowing your tricep to work properly. So it's not long head. It's actually it's the medial head. It's the dip machines, because the shoulder position is back, is what hits the long head.
Okay.
The guys who bench press never have big long head of their triceps because it doesn't hit that at all. And that's what most guys lack, is like a tricep that hangs.
Can you find a picture of that machine for them, Paul?
Yeah, I'm looking for it. It is a really weird
Where you going?
machine. Like it the way it loads. I'm trying to, man, I can't find an image of it. Here it is. I'll pull it up. Let me. It's here it is. You can see here, like it's got you can adjust this pad out and this up and down, and then it hinges right here. But the way the cables are on it, it loads more at the bottom and then it lightens a little bit at the top. It's just really got a weird loading curve to it, and I didn't really understand how to use it. And one of the other bodybuilders at my gym, a guy that I talked to, was telling me to turn it the side and do it one arm at a time, and it really gets you a good stretch on your bicep.
Yeah.
That's what I tend to find with like bicep machines is it's always too awkward like to do both arms at the same time. I have to like angle in it and get one arm in. It's just and then it feels good. Like even I have the Prime bicep curl machine at my gym, and yeah, I one arm on that thing, and it definitely feels a lot better than.
Well, the thing I like about it, if you see right here,
We can't see your mouse on this.
oh shit, you can't see my mouse, can you? But if you see like the handle, where the handle is at, it changes lengths for what your arm is. Like I have really fucking long arms.
Yeah.
And my arms do not fit in most machines.
Yeah.
It's a problem for me.
Huh.
So that's an issue with me with a lot of machines. Like a lot of these new machines are great at changing, allowing for different limb lengths, where I think like a lot of the older stuff, like the older hammer strength shit, was made for the average person. Like a lot of like the Prime stuff, the Atlantis. I really like the Atlantis machines. Man, the Atlantis machines are nice. So are the Panada stuff. It's super nice too.
Yeah, there's some good like newer companies coming out. What's that? I think it's a Korean company. I can't remember the name.
I don't know.
But they have. It's like they're like a. It's kind of like a Panada, but it's New Tech. Is that it? Maybe that's it. I can't remember. Maybe someone in the chat will know. New Tech, yeah. Lucas says New Tech.
Lucas knows everything.
He knows everything. Yeah. The New Tech stuff looks really cool too. Like all the they you can adjust so many different things on all their equipment. Like they kind of do what Prime or what Panada does, but kind of like takes it to another level without making it look like a Ferrari.
Josh says he forgot he was cooking and burned his fish. That's God punishing him for being a troll.
Oh shit!
Garlic, herb, flounder, gone but not forgotten. We'll say a word of sadness for you here. The stuff we have at our gym, we mostly have Prime, Panada. We have some of the old school hammer strength equipment, a lot of new, some of the new with the Italian brand I just mentioned. God damn it, the name escapes me now. God damn it, what is it? You have it, Chase, don't you? The Italian machines.
I mean, I have Prime, Atlantis, and Panada.
Panada, yeah.
Yeah.
Atlantis, that's what it is. Sorry, I lost my train of
Most
thought.
of my stuff's Atlantis.
I'm envious of your gym all over again, Chase. I mean, just like we have all that stuff at our gym, but then like to be able to have it all and then not be around the unwashed masses.
Oh, it's great.
Can't put a price on that.
Man, lately I've been letting my drone follow me around the gym.
Are you Tony Stark?
I mean, I'm just fucking around. It's fun. Dude,
Tony Stark is just, instead of building an Iron Man suit, he's just building him one out of flesh for himself.
So I've got a couple different drones, and I wasn't sure how it was going to work out. And my bigger one, I turned it on and I told it to, because these drones have the ability just to follow you, and active track you. And I turned on my biggest one and told it to follow, and I guess the setting was to follow from high up, and it just goes straight into the ceiling. It hits the ceiling, flies up, and I was like, "Oh shit!" And surprisingly, it didn't trash it. But
oh shit!
I know. I was like, "How did that survive?" But I was
lucky.
like, "Okay." So then I got one of the smaller drones. The problem, the reason I wanted to like use the bigger one, because it has like sensors all over and it wouldn't run into a machine. The smaller, like cheaper drones don't have like any sort of side detection or anything like that, so you kind of have to be a little careful with them.
Well, you got to grab your drones before they get made illegal. That's the thing that's going on right now.
Yeah,
they're trying to ban all the DJI drones, and FAA is trying to make drones illegal.
Yeah, but
all
right. Do we have any other questions in here? Anybody got questions?
We do have questions. We got some decent ones. We'll just start at the top with Brandon. Is there any benefit to a cold plunge? Considering making one, but I'm skeptical as to if it's worth it.
I like it.
Chase has.
Yeah, I've got a cold plunge. I don't think that it has a real like negative effect on hypertrophy, especially for us since we're on steroids, but I still do try to keep it a little bit separated from my workouts, Well, yeah, the main reason that I use it is to help with, basically like teaching my veins and arteries to constrict, and you get in the sauna and they expand. So it's just like getting your veins and arteries to be a lot more mobile. This is like the dummy way of saying it, but like that's a big part of it. It's great for your blood pressure because
I didn't even think about that because of arterial stiffening as you get older.
Yeah, so it helps prevent arterial stiffening, and it's also, I've noticed it's like really good for digestion. It's really interesting because like when you get in that thing, all your blood goes to your organs. And I've really noticed like when I get out of it, I feel like my insides are like gone. Basically, it's really weird. Like everything's just like so constricted and tight, like tight on the inside. It's also supposed to really help with visceral fat. Yeah,
I thought I could time that pretty well.
It is, nailed it. It's also it's also been researched for burning visceral fat, which is something
God damn it, Steve, we're down to 160 viewers now.
He stole some.
Yeah, he told me this week. He's like, I think I'm going to shift to Sunday. I see you guys already shifted to Sunday. I'm like, man,
it's all right.
Nah, he talked to me about it. I don't care.
So yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of it. I like it. I think it's it has a place. But
the important question, Chase,
it's definitely extra. It's very extra. So
did it make you shit your pants afterwards?
No, I did not. No. I did not get that.
Okay.
It does. I also noticed like it would increase my appetite a lot. It increases my appetite for sure. So I pretty much I was doing it daily for a while. The thing is, you get adapted to the cold. You get adapted to being in there, and it has less of an effect when you're adapted to it. So it's like you kind of want to do it, take some days away from it, and then go back in so you get that shock from it still. Otherwise, like, because when I was doing it daily, I the first time I got in it, I could barely sit in there for 2 minutes. After like a week, I could sit in there for like 6 minutes, and it's like 40 degrees. Like, it's fucking cold. Like, it's really cold. And now it's like, okay, I only do it on my cardio days, which is like, well, my like hit cardio days. So I do it maybe 2 to 3 times a week now. And every time I get in it, it's like 2 minutes is hard, and I'll push to 3 minutes. And so it keeps you desensitized enough to get the benefits. But it's not necessary. It's very extra. So yeah, not essential.
Man, fuck all that. I don't like the cold.
It's so cold. Man. It is so cold.
No,
It's
thank
insane.
you.
It's insane though, like how quickly you adapt to it if you do it daily. I was just kind of like, wow, I can really just chill in here.
Right.
I remember go ahead, Colin.
I was just gonna ask, like, how long? Well, you're gonna knock shit over, guys. Cats are playing in a bad place. How long does it take for your penis to go from an innie to an outie after 6 minutes in the cold plunge?
I knew there was a joke coming, so I had to get out of the way.
It's like waiting for that thing to pop up on a turkey.
Right.
Like, it's done. It's
Oh,
back.
good one, Amy.
Yeah.
Board for Amy.
It's cool.
Yeah.
That's what the sauna's for, Colin.
it's really. I
The
really
hot cold
thought
therapy.
that
My
was
blood
gonna
vessels
be-
are expanding.
I really thought that was going to be the limiting factor of how long I'm able to stay in there. But surprisingly, it's your feet and your hands that start to ache.
Well, your
Like,
extremities, that makes sense
it's
because
cra-
all your
it's
blood
like-
flows go onto the organs.
Especially like feet. Like, so yeah, it's like it like if you're not used to it at like 2 minutes, it becomes physically painful. And it's like, okay, I got to get out of this thing. Yeah.
Catherine just joined in
Perfect
perfect
timing.
time. Welcome to the
Came for the
madness,
penis
Catherine.
jokes.
We actually have a female listener. Wow.
We do.
I gotta get off in a second.
All
All right,
right.
Kurt.
See you later, man.
I'll see you guys.
Later.
See you guys in 3 days, 4 days,
Yeah, can't
Yes.
wait, man.
Yeah,
See you in Vegas.
We'll be at the Olympia.
Vegas. Chase, I'll text you when I get there. What time you getting there?
I think I land at like 10 or so, 10 a.m.
Okay, I'll be there like 2.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool. I'll see you guys.
See you,
See
Kurt.
ya.
I wanted to address Lucas's follow up on the preacher on the curls. He said, "I've always pulled preacher curl over to the bench, to the cables to be done on preacher's curl with an easy grip bar. One of the best constant tension exercises." Yeah, the issue is like in our gym, there's just too much traffic to do that, man.
Yeah,
You get punched in the face if you did that.
Yeah, you'd have to be in the gym at a very off hour to do something like that and not have people cursing your name under their breath.
Once again, like the problem for me, and this is why I had to do the Jim Lecco machine one arm at a time. I'm so wide and my arms are so damn long, I just don't fit. Like the regular preacher curl bar, it's too narrow for me.
Yeah.
I'm in like this.
It hurts.
Yeah, so it hurts. It hurts my elbows and shit.
Yeah, my elbows and my shoulders and shit.
Yeah, so I can't use a regular preacher curl bar. It sucks being tall sometimes. Finding clothes, finding shoes, finding machines that fit. But when you're big, it's awesome. Okay, what do we got? We want to get a couple more questions, and I want to go watch the football game.
All right. Well, maybe this is something that you can do on your YouTube channel, Amy, for people who might be interested to hear about growing up in a ski town.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd be interested if you talked about that.
I mean, I jokingly, well, it's half jokingly say that if I ever complain about my childhood, I'll be struck by lightning because, I mean, growing up at 10,000 feet, so you're in like living on a dirt road with no street lights.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing that you could never recreate that. And I feel like so fortunate that I got to experience it. I mean, we were feral. You know, my mom would literally lock us out of the house.
We were feral.
Yeah. We'd drink it out. I mean, like she would lock the door. She was a professional seamstress. So, I mean, she'd be working on like, you know, doing appliques on wedding dresses, and she had 3 kids. So like she would literally lock the door. And I think back on it, like there were times when like come on,
let me in.
Yeah, you know, like being behind that woodshed. Like, I mean, drinking water out of the hose. It was good times. So we caused so much mischief, setting like bonfires in the woods. Like, yeah. That is definitely something I'll talk about on one of my YouTube videos. It was good times. Good times.
It sounds like my childhood. I definitely grew up in a feral environment in the Appalachian Mountains. I showed Amy a picture of my parents, my family. My dad and my uncle looked like they just crawled out of a log cabin somewhere.
They understood the assignment. Like they fit in with the background. The greenery, the barn, or like the shed.
Camo is mandatory. All right, we got another question here.
Yeah, we got a question. We got some questions. We got a comment too.
It's supposed to be a good one. You're laughing, Colin.
Or
is there another joke coming?
No, I just think it's funny. Just sometimes. That's all.
What? Really?
just people in the
I didn't know.
Chat crack me up.
Somebody says Josh always with the zingers. Josh is taking trolling to like there's bad trolls. There's
Josh is not a low effort troll, and I appreciate
Josh's trolling is A+.
Yeah, I appreciate there's some work, some intelligence, a little bit of research goes into these trolls. You know,
we like an educated troll.
That's right. Yeah. He's a troll that moved on up to the east side, and he's no longer living under a bridge. You know,
I'd love to
see it. I'm here
sometime.
Yeah. Let's see here. This is a good one. Let's say you guys prep on 2 grams gear, just in general, and finish stage lean. How much would you use to rebound after taking a small health break?
5 grams. 5 grams.
you need to like ring a bell.
5 grams.
Yeah.
5 grams. I'll tell you my strategy. What I do. This is the Justin Harris approach. I don't take a break after the show. I just pull out the harsh shit, pull out the orals, the AIs, the trend. Keep my anabolics in place, maybe push the test up, and taper off the fat burners, and do that for like 6-8 weeks and catch the rebound. You don't want to crash, man. Agreed. That's kind of the approach. Josh says he spends his day making RNs laugh at death. What do you do for a living, Josh? Are you a doctor?
He's a nurse.
He's a nurse? Oh, okay. He's very witty. But that's my approach post-show. I think a lot of guys make a mistake. This year I didn't. This year I came off just because I had a lot of shit going on. My shoulder was all beat up. I didn't feel like I could train hard, so I didn't see any point in trying to push a rebound. And fuck it, I just got my pro card, so you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was kind of where I was at, so I just took a break, and now I'm pushing back in. But I feel like if you do it intelligently, that period after your dieting it's just prime for growth.
Yep, I agree.
All right, what we got? One more, maybe we want to get one more in.
Yeah, there's. Let's do this one. Mr. M, any inputs on training arms while on a push-pull legs routine? Can arms be done on a separate day, and would it help Bruce?
Well, it wouldn't be push-pull legs if it was done on a separate routine. Might as well just do a bro split at that point, which I think I might switch back to, but we do PPL. That's how I trained for like the last 5 years. Yeah. It's nothing complicated, man. I just do 6-8 sets at the end of my workouts. That's it.
That's what I do. Yeah. I've gone back and forth, like throwing in an arm day, and I can't positively say that it really made a difference. I think the thing that with arms, like what makes the biggest difference is going slow and feeling the muscle and not, trying to throw around a bunch of weight.
Yes.
And like, I think that's what people lack when it comes to training.
Yep.
100%.
Is
like you think about like what Paul was just talking about, like with that machine that he likes. What was the big difference? Like, why does he like that machine so much? Not because like it lets him sling around a whole bunch more weight or like it looks cool. No, it's like because like it provides a new angle to get a better squeeze on the part of the muscle he's trying to isolate. Like that's the name of the game.
I always laugh when we go over to the machine.
Yeah.
And inevitably, there's always
been 800 pounds on it.
There's always been somebody on there before me that's had the whole stack on, and I'm looking around the gym, and I'm
we
like,
must have just narrowly missed the Hulk.
I'm like, I got the biggest arms in the fucking gym right now. Where's the dude at that was doing 180 on the stack over here, and I'm using 60. It's I hear my daughter in the background. She says it's always the skinny guy. See, she knows. she knows. Yeah, that's the thing that drives me nuts. I used to be that guy. This is the
we all
little side rant here. This is where progressive overload can get you in trouble sometimes. Look, I'm all for progressing, and we know that mechanical tension drives hypertrophy. And if your form is constant and good and you progress weights, you are going to grow. But like for some things, there's just like like lateral raises, bicep curls. Like you can't inevitably beat the logbook on that shit.
Yeah.
Like otherwise, you're going to be the dude swinging the 60-pound dumbbells around.
Right.
Lateral
And so at that point, like you really need to start like focusing less on like the number of the that's on the weight that you're moving and focus more about like how you're manipulating the weight that you can control in order to maximize the result in the muscle that you're trying to isolate. And that's an internal game. That's the mind muscle connection.
Yeah. I mean,
we've talked.
I try to think about like using, if I'm doing like a dumbbell curl, whether it's 20 pounds or 30 pounds or whatever, like I try to make it feel as heavy as I can make it feel, as opposed to just thinking, I got to move the weight. It's
yeah, totally. Hey, maybe we can have Dilhan on. We've got room on the panel, Dill. If you're interested in coming on, Dill, there's room for you. We'd love to have you on, Dill, and you can tell us, what information we're lacking and what information we're providing that's incorrect, Dill. Just let me know. Get at me, Dill.
This show is how you get misinformed 101. I'm guessing that Dilhan has a pro physique.
Definitely.
270 pounds, all muscle. We've talked about it in the gym. Colin and I, we talked about it, and it wasn't just me. I forget who it was. I think it was. Do you ever talk to Cornelius Perkins? He's kind of a guru when it comes to weight training, but. Like I was talking to him with one time, and he had talked about like getting the most out of exercises, and it's almost like a martial art, really. Like you learn how to perfect an exercise, and like I've transitioned now that I've gotten older. Like I can't just keep progressing weights anymore, and I've tried to figure out how to make the exercises harder than what they were before.
Yep, I agree.
Sebastian. What is an easy to digest post-workout carb that's also cheap?
Rice.
That's right. The only reason I bring this up, obviously, rice is the standard, but it's just because he's talking about using HBCD as a post-workout carb, and I think you got things backwards, my dude.
Yeah, HBCD is going to be slow because of the molecule, how the molecule works. It's plucking. It's clustered dextrin, and the dextrose gets plucked off of the molecule. You can look at the molecule; it's like a big molecule with all these. It's the dextrose is attached to the molecule on the outside. It's like a big. Kurt would be here to explain it better, but anyway,
it's better for an intra-workout carb, if I'm not.
Yeah,
mistaken.
it's slow. Honestly, if you have trouble digesting and you want something simple and easy post-workout, a lot of times I'll just eat some breakfast cereal.
Yeah.
Some Rice Krispies, or
that's pretty popular.
Lately it's been Crispix. I like Crispix a lot.
It's popular.
They go down easy. They don't upset my stomach.
Those are also fine options. Cream of
Cream of
rice
rice
or
is fine,
cereal,
yeah.
like Paul was just saying.
Yeah, they're all good.
I like cereal. All right, I changed the name. Oh, Josh has changed our name to Disinformation 101.
I know you want to get going, Paul. Just real quick, I feel bad for Heido. He wants to know if there's any benefit for running small amount of TRT while trying to conceive. His test is big crashed. He said he ran a proper PCT. What advice do we have for Heido?
Chase would be the one for this.
I mean, I've seen guys do it on TRT. Yeah, I mean, you just have to make sure that you have a sperm count. If you have 0 sperm and you're on TRT, you're likely not going to get that sperm back. So, you want to be on a fertility protocol for sure if you don't have any sperm to get that count back. But yeah, I've seen guys do a fertility protocol, stay on TRT, and bring their sperm back from 0 to enough to conceive. Personally, when I did it, I did not go on, I wasn't on any testosterone. I was literally just on HCG and FSH, and like it all worked out fine. But I didn't know at the time. I was scared that it might hinder something, but that was I definitely could have. And like I said, I've seen people do it.
Just as I can watch the game while we're doing the show. You know what? I cannot. Stupid fucking YouTube TV. They block if you're running any sort of streaming software. If you're got the like. If
so you can't live. So they're blocking from like live streaming a live event.
Yeah. So if YouTube TV will not work if I'm streaming. So, yeah. He's asking how much FSH.
Yeah,
sorry.
He's helping him out in chat.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right, folks. I think that's all we got for you on this one. I am going to go watch the football game. Sorry, I can't live stream while I watch the football game. Hopefully they aren't in a hole already. This would be the most.
If they're in a hole already, you know why, Paul. It's because you weren't watching. That's your fault.
And the superstition begins.
I didn't wear my lucky dirty socks.
That's right. All right, y'all. Thanks for hanging out.
All right, folks. We'll see you next week. If you're at the actually, we won't see you next week. We'll be at the Olympia.
We'll be at the Olympia.
If you're at the Olympia, come by and say hi. It's booth 203, right, Chase?
201.
201. Jesus Christ!
When you walk into the expo, it's straight left. You go straight left to the.
I've been telling everybody 203,
and we're right there on the corner.
Close enough.
I mean, I think 203 is over there too.
The second booth from the left, straight on till morning.
It's impossible to miss us. We're on the corner. You walk in, you go left, and we're on the corner.
Awesome.
Just look for the big bald guys.
Just go and try to sniff out the toxic masculinity. You'll find us.
Yep. All right, folks. We'll see you the week after next.